This is Etc., featuring people and events of Texas A&M University and the surrounding community.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Etc. My name is Courtney Rowland, and I'm so excited that you've joined us because we have a great show lined up. We're talking all about Aggie Entrepreneurs. Well, let's not wait a second longer, and let me introduce you to our first guest. First with us, we have Rosalie McShane and Brandon Jones. Rosalie's with Rosalie's Custom Photography and Brandon with TexAgs.com. Hi guys, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Rosalie, why don't you first just talk to us first about just tell us about yourself and then also how this company came to be.
Well, I'm an Aggie class of 94, and I came back to A&M a few years ago with my husband, who's a professor here, and I have 3 children. And my interest in photography really started when my first child was born. I got frustrated with cameras for not producing what I knew I could get, and I entered the world of true photography, learning SLR photography, and it kind of progressed, and people started offering to pay me to do photography for them. And once we were back here, I decided that in order to really offer high quality portraits and products, I needed to become a professional photographer. And so I opened my business in 2007.
So how did you just started playing around with different cameras, and how did you learn like which cameras to use? And it just seems like you sort of somewhat taught yourself.
I took, you know, basic classes like at camera stores starting out a long time ago, and it always came very naturally to me. The places that were developing my portraits were saying, these are really good, you should do this. And I won some first place prizes in some national competitions that were not for professional photographers, but that was kind of encouraging. And so I think over time you learn more and more, and you're interested in learning it. And so I think I get better and better every year. But I still do Texas School of Professional Photography. I still go and attend that or work that. And then I'm a member of the Brazos Valley PPA, and they have speakers who come in every month. And so I really owe a lot of my learning to other professional photographers.
Okay, that's great. And Brandon, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and then TexAgs?
Sure. TexAgs started in '97. It wasn't actually by me. I got involved in '99. I came with a group and we bought half of it. I think at the time our hope was that we were going to get rich, you know, on the internet bubble from such an investment. But as it turned out, things got tough in an internet economy, and we kind of had to roll up our sleeves and figure out how to make this a real business that was self-sufficient and was able to operate. And so since '99, that's been what I've been looking to do. And I actually have only been doing it full time since 2005. And how to take a site that in the beginning was purely a fan-based site, meaning it was just really conversation among fans, to a true news publisher. And we still have that all-important user-based aspect of it, but we've added just a whole lot in terms of content creation and publishing, and then also figuring out how does this web entity actually make money and grow and sustain itself, you know, economically. And so that's been, you know, our real challenge over the last 10 years that I've been doing it. You asked me to talk about myself first, but I graduated from A&M in '95, started a software company, ended up selling that to a competitor, and one of the things we did with that was buy into TexAgs. So I come from more of a software development, you know, it was kind of my career path before I got involved with TexAgs. And actually, even after I got involved with TexAgs, I started another company because TexAgs was not making any money, and so I started another company with some guys out of Austin, did that for 4 years, and ended up selling out of that company as well. So,
can you just tell us a little bit about what TexAgs is?
Mm-hmm. TexAgs is a website that covers Texas A&M. Now, we primarily cover Texas A&M athletics, and we do that in 3 ways. One, we go out and we aggregate articles from all across the country, and we produce a reading list every morning. And so we'll get 30,000 people that come onto our front page just for that reading list. Now, most of that is athletic related, but we'll also post general articles of interest about A&M. It might be some sort of big construction project or some sort of going on in the administration or something like that. So we do that. The second thing that we do is we have a subscription product where we publish content for football, basketball, all the sports, and also for recruiting. And so we do that. Then the third thing that we do is we provide discussion forums. And I think right now we have probably about 45 different topical discussion forums, ranging from A&M football, which was the first one, all the way to religion and philosophy and outdoors board. I mean, just all sorts of different topics. And our thought process on that is, when you come to TexAgs, there's always something of interest really for everyone. It's not just anymore predominantly. It's not just for the sports fan. It's also for Aggies wanting to connect with other Aggies in meaningful ways. So that's basically what TexAgs is.
Rosalie, so he just sort of described how TexAgs started and the differences and the changes that they've started with, and how it started as predominantly just football, and then all the forums that they've added. How has your company changed since when you first started?
Well, the changes for my company really started probably before the company even began, because I learned with film. And when you transition from film to digital, there's a huge difference, not in the basics of photography, but in your approach and your post-processing. And so I think the digital processing and then the changes in the technology every year, with cameras getting better and better at what they do, you have to find ways to incorporate the technological aspects back into your business, and you have to stay up on the technology. But you can't neglect the fundamentals of photography either. You can't neglect light and composition and just interaction with people. Just because the camera can focus by pressing a button doesn't mean you're going to get a portrait you'll love. And so I think there's been a lot of learning with Photoshop, a lot of learning with Lightroom, and the products that I use change almost every year. So it's a constant learning process for me, and I enjoy that. That's one of the things I love about it. So
we talked about the changes in both of your companies, and you mentioned that how technology is always changing, and you said that just camera lenses and things like that. What else have you had to keep up with in order to keep up with technology?
Well, I think for me, because I am my business, I had to learn about getting a website up. I had to figure out domain hosting. I had to figure out how to add pictures to the internet so that they're nice instead of fuzzy and warped. There's a lot of technology that, as the technology changes, you have to just stay up on it, because if you don't, your competitors will, and it'll be obvious that you haven't kept up with it. But a lot of the biggest changes have been in the cameras themselves, their capabilities, what they can do, and the quality of digital files over the last several years has just jumped enormously. So.
Well, that's interesting, and it's been great talking with you guys and just learning about your companies. And y'all stay with us, because we'll be right back with more great guests.
Frontline provides me with information that makes me think.
First I shout at the television. You gotta be kidding!
You won't see this anywhere else.
The stories hit close to home.
Truth is a very valuable commodity.
They're uncompromising.
I want to do something. I want to take action.
It changed the way I actually live my life.
It lets me make up my mind.
I trust it. When I watch Frontline,
it makes me angry, and it makes me want to voice it.
I want to make a difference.
We can make a difference.
Frontline.
These guys are my heroes.
Hi Hi everyone, and welcome back to Etc. We've got some more great Aggie entrepreneurs with us. With us is Randa Yezik and Chris Thomas. Randa's with Southern Jewels and Chris with Muldoon's Coffee House. Randa, just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and how your business came to be.
Well, first of all, I graduated from A&M in 2009, and I would say that my business started while I was in school. It actually started as like a hobby, handcrafting jewelry for a lot of friends, and I implemented a website at the end of 2007, and then I started traveling as a vendor to multiple stock shows and rodeos, and so it just kept building and building, and whenever I graduated, I decided to turn down a couple of graduate school offers and pursue my business full time. Then we opened a kiosk here at the Post Oak Mall in College Station last fall through the holiday time, shut that down to travel again in the spring, and I opened an online store in February, and so I really pushed the online sales. We made the USA Today in July, and then right around that time we decided to go ahead and go storefront, and we just recently opened our first boutique last Friday, October 15th.
So wow, a lot of growth really fast.
Yes, ma'am.
And Chris, how about yourself? Just tell us a little bit about you and how Muldoon's came to be.
Sure thing. I'm class of 2008, graduated a couple years ago, and a coffee shop was just something that always interested me. I liked the atmosphere of it, and I thought it'd be cool to bring something that could be kind of different and cultured to College Station at Texas A&M, and we opened September of last year, and the goal was to be different from what other shops are here in town, to offer wider varieties, to do traditional style drinks, cappuccinos, macchiatos, things like that. And it just really kind of took off from there, and it's been a great year.
And what is the difference? You just described some of the drinks, but what else is there different than other coffee shops?
Definitely, the atmosphere is very different. Whereas some of the other shops in town are kind of more cramped and maybe a bohemian style, we wanted to do open, a lot of natural light, things like that. Also the drinks, it's fair trade, organic. The traditional drinks are made the way you'd get it at a coffee shop in Austin, for example. Prior to us, there was really nowhere in town you could get that. Our cappuccinos, as I said, are really popular, latte art, things like that. Really giving attention not only to the atmosphere, not only to customer service and things like that, but also making drinks kind of the right way, and just kind of trying to create a niche in this town that hadn't previously been filled.
Now let's get back to how it all started. Like, to start your own business, there has to be good social economics and just the right time in the economy. You said for you, Randa, it just kind of started as a hobby, but how did it build, and how did you know that this was going to be
Honestly, my clientele built before the business side of it built. With the website, of course, that implemented a whole new level. Then when we did the online store where there's an actual checkout process, I mean, I've had to learn all about secure checkout websites online. I've had to learn all about, my different merchants and accounts to take my credit cards through, who gives you the better rate. I've had to learn all types of, following my statements and really building the business side of it, yet also something that Chris touched on was the customer service side of things.
And Chris, she said that she started hers as a hobby and started building it throughout college, and you mentioned that you started it right after college. How did you know that this was the right time, and especially in a college town where there's so many coffee shops already, how did you know that I'm going to do this and this is the right time?
Definitely. It was something I started looking into probably my junior year, and just talking to different people. I have some good friends in Austin that own a coffee shop, and so I just kind of soaked up all the information I could from them and kind of shadowed them for an entire summer. Just asked a bunch of questions, and it kind of seemed like it's what I really wanted to do. And so once I was graduated, I just kind of went into it, and everything just kind of took off, and so it all came together. Worked out really nice.
Now, for both of you, what sort of classes, when you went to A&M, helped you prepare for this, or did you take entrepreneurship classes or business classes, or what